Next, artist Francisco Letelier is going to present a short survey of recent international and national projects with an emphasis on the social and community process and its relevance. Francisco.
Hi, you can pop up that first slide. Great. I'm a Chilean American. My public art practice is rooted in my upbringing. Murals in Chile were outlawed when the military dictatorship took power in 1973 through a violent coup. My family left Chile and my father was killed. As a teenager in the United States, I began to paint murals responding to my father's murder and also in response to the human rights situation in Chile, where murals were banned and muralists were imprisoned. So that's kind of the base of my practice since then. I make many kinds of public art, often incorporating collective and participatory processes. I collaborate with organizations and individuals that are kind of at responding to social conditions and events, very real events that are affecting lives. The projects are entirely contextual, so it's really impossible to really give a full view of what the work is about without understandings of what led to the projects and what the processes involved in making the art entailed. And this includes, of course, the experience of the many participants that are involved in projects like this one in the village of Bil'in, Palestine, in which I worked with many young people from Ramallah, continuing a tradition of mentoring young artists, very much the way I was mentored when I was a young artist. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so this project, Todas las Manos, was created to commemorate the death of my father in Washington, D.C. He was killed in 1976 by agents of Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet. And concurrent with the unveiling of the mural, you can pop up that next slide. Concurrent with the unveiling of the mural, the US government declassified documents concerning the US involvement in Chile and their knowledge considering, the US knowledge about my father's murder, the young Jewish American woman that was killed with him in a car bombing in the nation's capital in 1976. All that information was released to then Chilean President Michelle Bachelet, and she was on hand to sign the mural. But in this case, this monument to history created a context within which countries could talk about history with each other. And this is a supremely important thing about art, and that we provide the space and the arena, the room within which people can talk. And in this case, it was magnificent that these things occurred concurrently, the anniversary of my father's death and Michelle Bachelet's visit to the United States. Next slide, please. Many of you know that the disappearance of public art and public murals is always an issue, especially if you've been painting for several decades. Things come and go. Often murals are whitewashed or destroyed. And so when I was invited to create a work on the Fresno B building, which is on the National Register of Historic Places, I felt very assured that, okay, this mural will last beyond this current set of voices. It was a very rigorous design process. And as some of you know, Fresno, California is one of the most diverse places in the United States. There's huge communities from people all over the world. And in order to make this mural, we created conversations with all these people, with a sponsoring organization, Arte Americas, which is a 30-year-old Latino organization in Fresno, but provides cultural programming across the board to many people. Next slide, please. Just like the Todas las Manos mural, well, here is the Fresno mural, a very simple image that really captured, in the end, after a rigorous design process and many iterations of designs for this huge wall, was something that many people came together in a democratic process to vote on. And this was the result of all this long design process, a very simple image. Next slide. So a lot of my work is going full circle. Here's a mural that I just painted a couple of years ago at Nido de Águilas International School in Santiago, outside of Santiago in the Andes. It's the one school that I was able to attend after the coup in Chile. And now all these years later, the school really wanted to create a mural that spoke to this history we had all gone through. This mural is called Amigos, Friends. It has maps from Inca settlements, Mapuche settlements, and iconography that has particular meaning to the community of people that were involved. All my projects have usually involved many people and entail creating Instagram and Facebook and websites with a lot of educational material. Let's go to the next slide. So we can go to the next slide. Great. So the Bridging Culturals mural at State University, New York, Potsdam is an example of a mural that came about because of activity over many decades. So I painted a mural in St. Lawrence University 30 years ago, talking about solidarity in Latin America at a time where Northern New York wasn't considered a place where, oh, a large Latino population lived. This mural in particular stresses the reality of Afro-Latinos, Latin Americans that have African-American backgrounds.
Sorry,
Thanks.
time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Francisco.